the quiet fire that moves the world. Some women move through life like everyone else, working, caring, laughing, hurting, and yet, around them, there's something unspoken, something you can't quite define. It isn't beauty or charisma. It's a kind of gravity, an invisible current that bends the air. When they enter a room, things seem to rearrange themselves. Conversations deepen. People confess things they never planned to say. The world feels slightly more alive. Carl Jung might say these women carry an energy that comes from the depths, not personality, but psyche. He'd call it numinous, the mark of someone who's in touch with the unconscious, who channels forces older and larger than the ego. These are the unseen marks of women with high spiritual power, subtle, interior signs that can't be taught or faked. But power, in Jung's sense, isn't dominance or persuasion. It's alignment with what's real. It's the ability to listen to what the unconscious is trying to say through dreams, intuition, synchronicities, and symbols. It's not about having followers or rituals, it's about presence. Such women often live quietly, almost anonymously, yet they carry the psychic architecture that keeps the world in balance. Jung's hidden psychology offers a way to see them, understand them, and honor the invisible. 1. The Jungian framework, spiritual power as depth. To understand the marks of spiritual power, we first need to see how Jung defined the inner world. Unlike Freud, who saw the unconscious as a storehouse of repressed material, Jung saw it as a living cosmos, an ocean of archetypes, instincts, and mythic patterns that speak through symbols. For him, spirituality wasn't about religion but about integration, bringing the conscious and unconscious into dialogue. This was the essence of what he called individuation. The collective unconscious, that shared human reservoir of images and symbols, shapes our inner lives whether we know it or not. Jung believed archetypes like the Great Mother, the Wise Woman, or the Hero represent eternal structures of the psyche. When a woman has high spiritual power, these archetypes are not dormant, they are alive within her. She dreams them, feels them, and sometimes suffers through them. The power doesn't come from her, but through her, as if she were a bridge between the visible and the invisible worlds. In this sense, spiritual power in Jungian psychology isn't mystical in a detached way. It's biological, psychological, symbolic. It's about energy flowing freely between the conscious and unconscious without repression or denial. Jung often said, "There is no coming to consciousness without pain." Women with spiritual power are those who have endured that pain, the disorientation of confronting one's inner darkness, and returned with clarity. 2. The unseen language of the unconscious. Women of deep spiritual power live close to the symbolic layer of reality. They often experience the world in images rather than words, dreams that glow with strange meaning, sensations that feel ancient. Jung would say they are attuned to the numinous, those moments when ordinary life suddenly reveals its hidden structure. This kind of perception is not learned. It often appears early in life, a child who feels emotions before others do, who notices the moods of rooms, who dreams of storms and goddesses without understanding why. Such sensitivity can feel like a burden. Modern life doesn't have space for mystics in grocery stores. But this early symbolic awareness is one of the first unseen marks of spiritual power, the ability to sense the archetypal heartbeat beneath daily events. These women also have a natural relationship with synchronicity, Jung's term for meaningful coincidence. Their lives seem to unfold in patterns that can't be explained by chance, meeting the right person at the right time, dreams that anticipate real events, uncanny symbols appearing when decisions must be made. Jung saw synchronicity as evidence that the psyche and the world mirror each other. For a woman who has cultivated inner awareness, life itself becomes a kind of conversation with the divine. 3. The integration of opposites, holding light and shadow. Jung's psychology is rooted in paradox, and spiritually powerful women embody this more than most. They are not purely light beings. They have wrestled with their shadow, rage, grief, envy, fear, and even destruction. Yet instead of hiding those aspects, they integrate them. They know that real holiness isn't purity, it's wholeness. Holding opposites means being able to stand between contradictions without collapsing into either side. A woman of high spiritual power can be nurturing and fierce, rational and intuitive, gentle and unyielding. Jung called this the conjunctio, the alchemical union of opposites. It's the central mystery of individuation, that the psyche grows not by choosing sides but by reconciling them. Such women often radiate calm not because their lives are easy but because they have gone through chaos and survived it. They've stood in the psychic fire long enough to let it forge them into something unbreakable. Their peace is not naive, it's hard-won. You can feel it in their eyes, not absence of pain, but mastery of it. That is the unseen mark of spiritual power, serenity born of confrontation. 4. The animus, the inner masculine as guide. In Jung's view, every woman carries within her an inner masculine principle, the animus. It represents her capacity for logic, will, clarity, and independence. When unconscious, the animus can appear as a rigid inner critic or a compulsive need for external approval from men. But when integrated, it becomes a source of strength, the inner voice that says, "You can stand alone." A spiritually powerful woman has made peace with her animus. She doesn't need to reject men to be strong, nor dissolve her power to be loved. She embodies both the receptive and the assertive, yin and yang within a single psyche. This is another unseen mark, the harmony of inner polarities. The mature animus also acts as a bridge to the spiritual realm. It helps a woman translate intuitive insights into concrete understanding. Where intuition whispers, the animus structures. Jung wrote that the integrated animus gives a woman a word of her own, an inner authority that frees her from imitation or submission. This is why women with high spiritual power often seem sovereign. Their authority is inward, not borrowed. 5. Shadow work, descent before illumination. No one becomes spiritually powerful without descent. Every myth echoes this truth: Inanna's descent to the underworld, Persephone's abduction, the dark night of the soul. Jung saw this as an archetypal pattern. One must face the unconscious and its darkness before one can integrate its wisdom. Women who carry spiritual power often have histories of profound suffering, betrayal, loss, rejection, illness, or loneliness. These experiences become initiation rites. The descent strips away illusions and compels confrontation with the shadow, all the impulses that polite society represses. In that confrontation, a different kind of strength is born, not reactive, not performative, but rooted in truth. In Jungian terms, shadow work transforms raw instinct into conscious energy. It liberates vitality that was trapped in fear or shame. The unseen mark here is not perfection but humility, the quiet confidence of someone who knows her own darkness and is not afraid of yours. 6. The Great Mother and the Wise Woman, archetypal embodiments. Archetypes are the language of the collective unconscious. Two that dominate women's spiritual psychology are the Great Mother and the Wise Old Woman. Both are ambivalent, capable of nurturing and destroying, creating and dissolving. The Great Mother embodies fertility, care, and regeneration, but also possessiveness and devouring control. Spiritually powerful women have often wrestled with both sides of this archetype. They feel the pull to nurture and protect, but also the danger of losing themselves in it. When integrated, they channel the Great Mother's energy consciously, creating spaces of healing without self-erasure. The Wise Woman, on the other hand, represents mature insight, intuition, and detachment. She lives beyond social roles. For Jung, she is the female counterpart to the wise old man, the inner guide who leads one toward wholeness. When a woman reaches this stage, she no longer seeks validation. Her words carry archetypal resonance because they come from experience that transcends ego. Together, these archetypes form the psychic backbone of female spiritual authority. They are unseen but felt in the calm presence, symbolic wisdom, and life-giving creativity that such women radiate. 7. The cultural shadow, society's fear of the spiritually powerful woman. Jung understood that cultural myths mirror the psyche. The collective unconscious expresses itself in how societies treat women who embody spiritual authority. History shows a pattern: witches, healers, mystics, women who claimed their own vision, were often demonized or silenced. This persecution is not just social but psychological. Jung wrote that what society represses, the unconscious compensates for. Western culture, obsessed with rationality and control, repressed the feminine principle, intuition, mystery, emotion, depth. Spiritually powerful women, therefore, carry the projection of both fear and awe. They become symbols of what the culture has denied. Recognizing this projection is crucial. It helps modern women separate their authentic inner experience from inherited guilt or shame. The unseen mark here is courage, the ability to stand firm in one's inner truth even when it doesn't fit the collective narrative. 8. Transformation and individuation, the road to the self. For Jung, the ultimate goal of psychological life is individuation, becoming who you truly are by uniting the conscious and unconscious. For women with high spiritual power, this process unfolds in stages of death and rebirth. Each descent into the unconscious, through dream, heartbreak, or solitude, brings new fragments of the self to light. Over time, these fragments form a mandala, the symbol of wholeness. The woman begins to live from the center rather than the periphery. She no longer reacts to life, she participates in it. This state of individuation doesn't make her superhuman. On the contrary, it makes her profoundly human, aware of limitation, mortality, imperfection. Yet she radiates a quiet authority, a wisdom that comes from integration. Jung would say she has met the self, that inner center that reflects the divine image. 9. The cost of carrying the light. Spiritual power always comes with cost. Jung warned that one cannot hold light without confronting its shadow. Women of great inner power often endure deep loneliness. Their inner lives can feel too vast for ordinary conversation. They see patterns others miss, and that clarity can isolate them. There's also the weight of projection. Others sense the archetypal energy around such women and unconsciously assign roles: healer, mother, savior, witch. These projections can be flattering but dangerous. To remain free, a spiritually powerful woman must continually shed the images others place upon her. And yet, despite the loneliness and misunderstanding, such women often serve as anchors for their communities. They embody a kind of psychic stability that others intuitively trust. Their unseen marks become visible only through the transformations they inspire in those around them. 10. The practice of integration, living the unseen. Spiritual power is not a possession, it's a practice. Jung insisted that integration must be lived, not theorized. Women with high spiritual power often cultivate daily disciplines that keep them aligned with the unconscious: dream journaling, meditation, creative expression, time in nature, solitude. They listen inwardly, to intuition, to symbols, to the subtle feeling of rightness that Jung called feeling tone values. They use art, writing, or ritual to give form to the formless. This expression anchors spiritual energy in matter, what Jung called the opus, or great work. Such women are rarely famous, but their impact ripples quietly through lives and generations. They are healers, teachers, mothers, artists, friends. Their spiritual power lies not in visibility but in authenticity, the integrity of being fully themselves. Conclusion: the world built by invisible hands. If you want to find spiritual power, don't look to the stage or the pulpit. Look to the woman who listens more than she speaks. The one who has suffered but no longer complains. The one who carries both softness and strength in equal measure. Jung would say, she is close to the self. The unseen marks of spiritually powerful women are not mystical decorations. They are signs of integration, of a psyche that has faced itself and come out whole. Their existence reminds us that the sacred isn't separate from the human, and that transformation is possible not through denial of pain but through its embrace. Jung's hidden psychology reveals that these women are not anomalies, they are the archetypal future of consciousness itself, individuals capable of holding paradox, embodying wholeness, and radiating light in a dark age. Their power is unseen because it does not need to be seen. It simply is.